Hello War of the Visions newbies, this is Suspect Amy, and I'm here to do a quick video going through recent reviews of War of the Visions on the App Store, and giving my honest take on some of them. Gacha reviewers are kind of a finicky bunch. They will absolutely torch a game over something small or a simple misunderstanding, just as much as they will over a legitimate game-breaking mechanic. If you're checking out reviews to decide whether to play War of the Visions, it can be tough to tell if those one-star reviews are legit. Hopefully I can help clear things up a bit in this video. Let's dive into it. As usual, I love looking at the reviews on the front page. Too much for the same thing. That sounds like that should be less than 5 stars, right? A 3-star review for excessive grinding. These are fair reviews, but they're over 3 years old, so let's see if there's something a bit more recent we can talk about. That's better. Account recovery. Download failed. Okay, we'll be skipping any reviews that don't really discuss the actual gameplay. Smack. Right off the bat, there's a 5-star review. I know I said I'll cover bad reviews, and trust me, there's a ton of them. I do like noting some good things about the game here and there. I won't read the whole review, but I'll try to summarize. Good community, fairly free-to-play friendly, great for Final Fantasy fans. Everything he said is very true, but the key is his point about this being a long game and having the proper patience to build your account. If you have this, you will really enjoy this game. If you start the game expecting to stomp PvP in a month, that's going to be really difficult and expensive. So the important thing is to come in with the right frame of mind. Download failed. Phishing attack on Facebook. Download failed. Download failed. Okay. I have to be perfectly honest. I have played this game on and off for like 3 years and installed on probably half a dozen devices and computers, and have never had this download problem, but this really seems like an honest issue. The weird thing is that I think the bones of the game are very good. Like, if you wake a gacha game from the background after a daily reset, how it behaves says a lot about its foundation. A game like Counterside was hot garbage at this. It would freeze and crash and force a logout every time the day reset. War of the Visions is fantastic at this. So it's got good bones, but these download issues and the fact that Gumi is unable to put together a PC client kind of speaks to some other core issues with the game. I guess for most users, it's probably fine. What's this? First time rating any game. Amazing. Soundtrack and lobby music is amazing. Whoa. This has to be a paid review or something. I think the music is hot garbage. I actually play the game with voices and sounds turned on, but with music off because it gets kind of annoying, especially during story. However, if they sprinkle in Final Fantasy music, which we all know is top-notch, that's hard to argue with. This is a bit weird. I think there is, like, 2 ads in the game. One for summons and one for more stamina if you run out. Both of them you need to launch manually. I actually haven't watched an ad in War of the Visions for years, so I'm not sure what he's talking about. As for everything else, yeah, it's a gacha. If you want the newest limited 100 cost hero, you'll probably need to open your wallet. I don't think that's much different than other gachas. Great in many areas, terrible in others. Let's see. Did 100 summons with no URs. That's happened to me once. Actually, it was on video. If you guys ever watch my old Lara Croft pull video, it was painful. Many time-limited units. This is true, let me tackle that subject later. I'm certain this isn't the only time this will pop up here. His comment about content being too easy or too hard is pretty true, but they definitely fixed this with their latest newbie package. You get an incredibly strong team to start now, and you're very close to diving into hard content early in the game. Of course, this also makes easy content, like story, an absolute joke for new players, so now it's just annoying. It's garbage. Throw your wallet and money into paid summons to get something meta-defining. Okay, let me stop right there. This is a bad take. I don't know a single gacha game that give you a quote-unquote meta-defining unit easily. I have no idea what he was expecting. If he was throwing his wallet away for a trash UR, that is a completely different story. But for something meta-defining, I don't know. Fell off bad when it collaborated with Dumpster Fire Addison Rae. I'm lukewarm on this take. War of the Visions was just trying to advertise their game, which is never a bad thing. Ready Player Will did a fantastic video about this collab, where he compared posts where each partner announced the collab. Addison Rae's post on TikTok got like millions of views and comments and likes. By comparison, the collab post from the War of the Visions account had like a pathetic 20K views or something. So it was a huge way to get the word out about the game. But we all know this is a very difficult, grindy game, aimed at Final Fantasy lovers, so why in the world were they even marketing this game to 14-year-old girls? It didn't make much sense. Oh, good take. You guys know how I feel about the game dropping English VAs. Extremely disappointing. It'll be very difficult to remain invested in the story at that point, but honestly, I watch through a few 30-minute scenes per week, and I feel like I'm still months away from reaching the JP voiced section, so I'm okay for now. Time sink. If you want to burn hours every day, this game is for you. I guess that means there's a lot of content. Actually, he's not wrong. If you're a new player and really want to dive into all the game has to offer, you will be overwhelmed. I don't know if that's a bad thing. You can always ignore that stuff and just do your dailies like I do. Another download issue. No longer a free-to-play game. Okay, I think this guy didn't mean to give this 5 stars because everything he says here is negative. I do want to read this because it addresses the major elephant in the room. I started playing at Global's launch, and for the first 2 years you could play the game without spending money. But now, with the amount of things they release that change meta, and the pace of the game is too much with how low the drop rates are. If you are lucky and get every new thing with free viz, then hats off to you. But I don't think anyone is that lucky. So now you must buy a lot of viz to get new things. Fantastic take. This goes back to the previous complaint about too many limited heroes and stuff. Let me explain what I think is happening. The global version of the game used to be like 4 months behind the Japanese version. So if Japan got a new unit, we would get that unit 4 months later. But then Gumi made the decision to aggressively catch Global up to around 1 month behind Japan. In order to do this, they needed to release new units at a way faster pace than before. So in essence, they crammed 11 months worth of content into around 8 months. This of course leads to what most players are experiencing here. It's very difficult to keep up at this pace, and it's driving a really big wedge between the whales and the low spenders. Many players are unhappy about this, and this guy brings up a good point. If the devs are going to go crazy like this, at least give everyone 11 months worth of viz in 8 months or increase the drop rates or something. I don't think Gumi's done enough in this area, so it's easy to see why players are upset. Well, I guess if you're tired of your gacha game putting out content at a slow pace, then come play War of the Visions and you'll get your face melted off. I think we've been a month behind Japan for about 3 months now, and the game has stabilized a bit, but it still feels kinda crazy. On its last legs, rates are not good. I agree. With the pace that they release new units, these rates should be friendlier. Too many shards to max, also a good take. It's definitely grindy. Holo Vision cards, good take. The good note is that new players couldn't care less about Holo Vision cards, but this was a slap in the face to late game players. If you played the game for years, you did your time, right? So you were sitting on piles of resources that you could use to max anything the game threw at you, but the devs introduced these cards that kind of ignored those resources, so it was upsetting to the most loyal players. English VA, good take. Final Fantasy VII event without new characters. I'm trying to find out what he's talking about here. Did this happen last year or something? Gumi just did 3 Final Fantasy events back to back to back, and all of them introduced new units. Advent Children even introduced 2 new heroes. By the way, if you left the game because you weren't getting enough Final Fantasy stuff before, it seems like the devs made a huge change in direction on this. Let me take a moment to talk about collabs. We have to realize how lucky we are that this is a Square Enix game. War of the Visions only makes around 700K per month in revenue, which is not very much compared to most gacha games. Usually games in this revenue category have a really difficult time landing collab partners. What self-respecting IP would want to collab with a 5-year-old low-revenue game, right? But thanks to Square Enix's huge list of IPs, we still get a ton of good collab content. Heck, War of the Visions can just run 16 different Final Fantasy collabs one after the other, and most of the players would be in heaven. Sprinkle in their other IPs like Dragon Quest or Tomb Raider, and there's a lot of good content possibilities ahead. If Square Enix can keep using their industry pull to continue bringing in outside collabs, like they did with Nier and Full Metal Alchemist, that's just icing on the cake. Okay, let's take a look at a few more and wrap this puppy up. Extreme Pay to Win. Wow, nice book, buddy. Let me see if I can summarize. Played when it first came out and left because of the grind. He came back and spent 1K in 2 months to try and catch up. Big scam. Can't do elemental team quests? Okay, hold up. You can clear brutal elemental battles within a few weeks as a new player, especially with the latest new player rewards, but you just won't be able to clear the elemental team mission. So you'll 5-star a battle instead of 6-starring it. Building out 8 different full-powered elemental teams for these types of quests will take a year. This guy has been playing for 1 or 2 months here. I think he needs to reset his expectations a bit. Too many new characters. We covered that. Looks like he's complaining about difficult multiplayer battles having no chat and people quitting. He must be talking about nightmare difficulty battles or level 100 raid bosses that you often have to fight on manual and coordinate with other players. Good take. This is late game content, and it's actually not very common. These events are rare, but when they're here and someone on your team is just autoing it and there's no coordination, I can see how it could be frustrating. He loves the game, but unless you have 2 years of your life to slowly collect characters, yeah, like I said, it's grindy and a marathon, not a sprint. So if you go in with that mentality, you'll have fun. Discontinuing English VAs. I like how many negative reviews were left about this. Life drain. Good graphics and gameplay. Overwhelming. I think he's saying there's 20+ banners to pull from every week. Yeah, face-melting speed of content in this game, I told ya. $300 a week for 2 heroes sounds a bit excessive to me. Maybe he's including the cost to speed build them or something. I haven't gotten a new hero from a banner in months. I've just been building the free ones, like Tifa and Renoa. Game is designed to trick you. I don't know, I haven't accidentally bought something with Viz that I meant to buy with Gil yet. Crashing, lagging. I don't have that issue. Rob you of your life. Only lost time, not money. If you ask me, time is money. I would rather lose the money, honestly. Play at your own risk. Yawn. Guys, just play slow and fun. No one if forcing you to pay $300 every week to pull 2 new heroes. Last review. Graphics are worse than PS1. Character models look disproportionate and cheap. Giant shoulders and wire legs. Game looks like garbage. I wonder if he joined during the Final Fantasy IX collab. Those character designs look particularly wonky compared to the rest of the characters in the game. I think the designers were just trying to stay true to the original game, but it definitely seems out of place. The review just before this one said the graphics were great. I don't know, I think for a mobile game, they're pretty decent. Anyways, that's all I have today. Thanks for watching my video. Bye, everyone.